You're listening to the Michael Yaffee program, WNSC.UCF.edu online radio, and I have a very short segment this time, and I went really long last segment, so I just want to go back to what we need to fill that spiritual void with. And I'm going to go back. It's going to take leadership. And you know what? Not the kind of leadership Obama's giving us, or not even the kind of leadership FDR gave us, but I'm going to go back to President Truman. An unlikely leader, but who showed us a way to get back to that spirituality. And he said it in a speech, and hopefully I'm going to find it here. It's going to be really unprofessional because I just thought of this last minute. Hopefully I find the right track on the CD. If not, please excuse me.
On June 12, 1945, Harry began a letter to Bess. Just 2 months...
Nope, that's not it.
Much of the speech had been written on the train. The first test was his address to Congress the afternoon of Monday, April 16th, and he passed with flying colors. Indeed, for days, for weeks, he seemed to do nearly everything right. Congress, the press, the public liked what they saw and heard. Even a little mix-up at the start of the speech, when he began before he was supposed to. He came down the aisle to a standing ovation, went directly to the rostrum, opened a large black loose-leaf notebook, and started in, addressing not just the packed chamber, but an enormous radio audience. Speaker Rayburn leaned forward. "Just a minute, Harry, let me introduce you," he interrupted, his voice coming over clearly on the battery of microphones. Only that morning over the phone, Rayburn had told him, "Mr. President, you are not Harry to me anymore." But in his own excitement, Rayburn had forgotten, and the moment, amusing, poignant, would be recalled for years. The speech lasted just 15 minutes. Speaking slowly and carefully, Truman was interrupted by applause again and again, 17 times before he finished.
With great humility, I call upon all Americans to help me keep our nation united in defense of those ideals which have been so eloquently proclaimed by Franklin Roosevelt. I want in turn to assure my fellow Americans and all of those who love peace and liberty.
Now, most of this is just normal speech in when you replace a president, but there's something he says at the end that's incredibly important. And it's the kind of leadership we need again.
That is my duty, and I shall not shirk it.
People everywhere felt relief, even hope, as they listened. He seemed a good man, so straightforward, so determined to do his job. The voice and the accent would take some getting used to. He pronounced United States as United States, said nation almost as though it rhymed with session.
And this speech came from the humblest of people, the unlikely of people. But it wasn't the person of him that was important. It wasn't Truman himself that was important. But it was what he directed the country to at the end of his speech. The idea, the kind of leadership we need to fill that spiritual void I've been talking about.
But the conclusion, delivered to a hushed chamber, was entirely Truman's own. His face lifted, his hands raised. In a voice of solemn petition, he said,
Sorry, guys, it just totally stopped on me. Let's try that again.
Much of the speech had been written on the train.
Is my wanting the suspense? I want you to be in suspense in your seat. That's
Jimmy
what it is.
Burns and Sam Rosenman, author of innumerable Roosevelt speeches, had played a large part. But the conclusion, delivered to a hushed chamber, was entirely Truman's own. His face lifted, his hands raised. In a voice of solemn petition, he said,
At this moment, I have in my heart a prayer. As I have assumed my heavy duties, I humbly pray Almighty God, in the words of King Solomon, give therefore thy servant an understanding heart, to judge thy people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, thy so great people? I ask only to be a good and faithful servant of my Lord and my people.
You see what he did there? See, to him, the belief in God was one of the most important things. It was the idea. Pray to be a servant of Almighty God. This is the kind of leadership we need, but this is not what we see anymore. See, religion, the belief in God, is fading little by little. But God cannot be contained. He will come one way or another, and hopefully it will be through the American people, their spirit, to elect leadership, to be leaders on themselves, to bring back the humility, to not direct towards ourselves and our own man-made gains, but to once again point to God. Something to think about. When I come back, I'm going to talk about what one of the Wall Street Journal editorials say is the worst bill ever. You are listening to the Michael Yaffee program, WNSC.UCF.edu, online radio. You are listening to the Michael Yaffee program, WNSC.UCF.edu, online radio. Remember, you can instant message me during the show, and I will comment back, Radio WNSC. Don't forget, tell your friends they can instant message me. They can also find Michael Yaffee on Facebook. I post all my recordings, all my shows on Facebook, so you can listen anytime you want. So there's no excuse. You should listen. Unless, you're not into important issues and stuff. So I have an article here from the Wall Street Journal, and it's written by, let's see what it's written by. It doesn't say. What in the world? Well, I guess it's just written by the editorials of the Wall Street Journal. This is awesome. I really should only read the title of this article and then be in that. Now remember, this is talking about the new health care bill that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats have released in the House of Representatives. And what does the Wall Street Journal call it? The worst bill ever. Okay, good night. That's it. That's all you need to know. Worst bill ever. Don't vote for it. Okay, fine. I'll read more into it and we'll find out. It's depressing. Epic new spending and taxes, pricier insurance, ration care, dishonest accounting. The Pelosi health bill has it all. Oh joy. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has repeatedly told fellow Democrats that she prepared to lose seats in 2010 if that's what it takes to pass Obamacare, and little wonder. I think you're going to lose seats no matter what there, Pelosi. The health bill which she unwrapped last Thursday, which President Obama hailed as critical milestone, may well be the worst piece of post-New Deal legislation ever introduced. Music to my ears. Great article. In a rational political world, this 1,990 page, that's right, the bill is 1,990 pages. Maybe the font's really big? I doubt it. This 1,990 page runaway train would have been derailed months ago. With spending and debt already at record peacetime levels, the bill creates a new and not at peacetime, but the bill creates a new and probable unreplaceable middle-class entitlement that is designed to expand over time. Here's one of the kickers. Taxes will need to rise precipitously, even as Obamacare so dramatically expands government control of healthcare that eventually all medicine will be rationed via politics. So joy. Yet at this point, Democrats have dumped any pretense of genuine bipartisan reform and moved into the realm of pure power politics as they race against the unpopularity of their own agenda. The goal is to ram through whatever income redistribution scheme they can claim to be universal coverage. The result will be destructive on every level for the healthcare system, for the country's fiscal condition, and ultimately for American freedom and prosperity. Oh my, I love this article. I mean, I can't say it better than myself. First point he makes, the spending surge. The Congressional Budget Office figures the House program will cost $1.055 trillion over a decade. That's right, I did not stutter. Which, while far above the $829 billion net cost that Ms. Pelosi fed to credulous reporters, is still a lowball estimate.